Hello and welcome to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, Live the Life You Want. My name is Jasmine. I'm your host. I'm a transformative coach and a business management consultant. I basically help people make things happen for their business. And today I am talking with Ian Johnston. Hi, Ian.
Hiya.
So if you guys are wondering why I invited Ian, is because, you know, he's Irish and he's got this great accent. And I just wanted to have that. No, that's not true. This is just like the perk of having the conversation with Ian, because he's going to like talk to us. Okay. So Ian.
I hate my accent.
You do, eh?
I told people I hate listening to myself recording.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we won't go there.
Yeah. But it's just funny because all the people here are like, when we hear this accent, we're like, oh, this is so cool. I just love the sound of it. So
well, I'll take that. I'll take that.
There you go. And more people that are listening are probably going to love it too. So people, send him some love, put some comments in there. So Ian, just for the purpose of the people listening, can you let them know, well, first of all, where you are? They already know, but and what you do. And by the way, people, Ian is Eve Johnston's husband, which we've seen earlier in our series. So go ahead, Ian.
She's my long-suffering wife. Yeah, so I'm Ian Johnston. I'm in Dublin, Ireland, and it's now the 18th of March. I'm just going to mention that because yesterday was Paddy's Day, so it's a very important day for Ireland. We get to celebrate being Irish, which is actually a great thing for most of us, not everybody, but most of us. So we're very grateful that we live in the country, especially in the times that we're living in with all that's going on over in Ukraine. And the Irish people are very sympathetic to the situation over there. And I think we're playing our part, even though we're a neutral country. Neutrality is very important to us, but we're taking a lot of refugees in, as many as we can. And we just, like I suppose everybody around the world, we just hope that this ends sooner rather than later.
Yes.
So I'm in Dublin, Ireland. I also do some coaching. I do some creative work. I design. I come from a print design background, and I still do a little bit of design work. I've started getting into website development, so I'm doing a bit of that. So I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, but I love technology as well and what it can do for us.
Yeah,
so
me too.
We were just talking about that. I just pulled out a box of wires to fix something here. Yeah, so
yeah, we understand each other at that level. Like I'm the same. I love technology, and I love the fact that with I'm realizing that throughout my career, you know, like I'm also a jack of all trades. I can basically do a little bit of everything, you know. And I think this brought me to where I am today, because when I talk to an entrepreneur, I can literally see the whole aspect of the business, you know. So I can look at, you know, the administration of it, the marketing of it, and all of the things that technology can do for all of the, you know, accounting, marketing, advertising, all of that. And I understand a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And
me too. I did have my own business it was a family business, and myself and my brother ran it for over 30, nearly 35 years. And I made the decision to kind of do something different with myself back in 2018. And I sold my share of the business and got out of it. And, you know, myself and Ev decided to start up a coaching and training business. And we had just started trading back in 2020, late 2019, but we were kind of starting to gather a bit of traction around March 2020, and then something hit.
Yeah. Wonder what?
Well, we won't mention it anymore.
Yeah. We've heard enough of it, Ian.
We have heard enough of it. Luckily, all restrictions have been cancelled here in Ireland, so even coming home from a flight, we don't have to fill out any passenger locator forms. So we were so done with the whole thing. But I think it did teach us, when we were locked down in the thick of it, it did teach us to appreciate our family, because they were the only people that we were interacting with. And like myself and Ev, we've got 3 boys. 2 of them are married now, so one lives up the road from us, one lives maybe 5 or 6 miles away from us, and the other lives with us. So and the extended family, so they were our kind of social circle for a long time. So we had to kind of get on, and we had to rediscover ourselves in a lot of ways. And it was very nice, though, because we all get on really well, and we've had a great life together. And then when we were together throughout the pandemic, we just enjoyed it. So it wasn't hard for us to be stuck with each other. And I appreciate that that's not the same for everybody. Families with young kids, it's a very different dynamic going on. Especially if you're stuck in a smaller house with young kids and you have to work there and you have to try and homeschool them, that's a very different scenario. But we were really blessed and very lucky to have each other. So,
well, I think that everybody had their own thing occur, like I literally reinvented myself during the pandemic. I mean, I started doing things that I never knew that I could do. First of all, I started doing my own products, my own skincare, all of the natural products, my deodorant. I started doing candles, I started doing that kind of stuff, and I really like it, and I started taking care of plants. I don't know if you've noticed, there's a bit of plants around me. And I've started, I had 3 plants, I think, when the pandemic hit, and I'm now over 20, and there's plants all over the place. And so I started doing that, and I reinvented my business. It's like I'm doing what I've always done, but I'm doing it at a deeper level. I'm having more fun, and I feel more involved. And I love that people feel, I love that people like the work that I do, first of all. And second of all, I like that they once they're finished working with me, they feel like they have a better view of how to run their business and how to manage it. And I'm working with solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. I have a company that I'm working with that they went from, I'm going to say, they had employees, and they had to lay off all of their employees, and then they had to readjust all of their processes to just themselves, because now they don't have any staff. So as opposed to before, where they were like, okay, this person's going to do sales, this person's going to do admin, this person's going to do deliveries, now they're doing everything. And so they have to, and it could be really, really overwhelming, to start doing that. But everybody has had to come back to, come back to put their feet on the ground, really get grounded and go, okay, what is it that now I want to do? So you could have stayed in your head and be poor me, poor me, poor me. What is this world coming to? Or you could have just said, okay, what's going on? What am I going to do? What can I do?
And I think people did do that. People did stay in their head, but I know so many people who actually like you said, put their feet in the ground, reconnected, earthed themselves, and thrived through this. And people who started new businesses in the midst of pandemics, and like the Irish are very entrepreneurial and we'll try our hand at everything. And so many little food shops and coffee shops and little trucks appeared out of nowhere, and I'm sure it was the same in Canada. Everybody was a business owner.
Yeah.
Because people got laid off all the time.
Yeah, a shift occurred, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's kind of like, okay, well then if I can't do that, what can I do?
Yeah.
It's like looking to the possibilities instead of looking to the impossibilities.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's like kind of water finding its level, isn't it? It's people found their level.
Yeah.
And you can't stop the flow. People move towards something. They have to be moving towards something. I don't know very many people who sit still.
Yeah. I think we're made to move.
Yeah.
And I think that when we don't move, that's when the suffering sets in.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I have a really good buddy, and he's in the post-production business and production business, and they do all these special effects for movies and stuff like that. And because of the lack of stuff that was made during the pandemic, now all of a sudden everybody's really busy in that field. And like, he's gone from a kind of a steady turnover every year. He's like quadrupled it now. He's looking at taking on people. He's got people logging in from all over the world working for him. So there is a boom going on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I live in Canada and my clients are in the UK and in the US.
Yeah.
That's where my clients are. Like when the pandemic hit, I had 2 clients in Canada and now I have 3. But I have I have clients in the US, I have clients in the UK, it's like they're all over the place now.
And that's the thing I love about the technology. I love Zoom and Google Meets and all the different platforms where we can talk. Like, you're in Canada, I'm in Ireland.
Yeah. And we've never met, like physically.
We've never physically met, but we know each other well. We're
exactly. Yeah, no, but that's really, really cool. Like I can honestly say I've got friends all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really, pardon me?
It is really cool. One of the other things actually that we did, just maybe about 2018, we had a school reunion. I don't know, 25, 30, X amount of years, a long time ago we left school, but we had a school reunion. So we were all kind of in contact when the pandemic hit through WhatsApp and all that kind of stuff. But we started doing Zoom calls. So now they were a bit chaotic because there could have been 25, 30 people on a call and there was no etiquette
wants
going
to talk.
on.
Yeah. Somebody wants to talk. Yeah.
There was just noise. So I didn't, but it was just nice because a lot of my classmates, when I left school in the 80s, mid 80s, I'd say 80% of my year had to emigrate to get work because there was a deep recession going on in Ireland at that stage. So there's a lot of them still away. A lot moved back. There's people spread all over the place. I have classmates in America, Canada, Panama. I think there's a fella in China. They're all over the world. So all over Europe, England.
Yeah.
So that's that was the reality back then. Now kids are coming out and they've got so much choice for starters, in college, like before, it was like you either did something like commerce or, you became a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. Now
Yeah.
there's just so much granular choice.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it could be good. It could be confusing too. It could be like,
it-
which
it
one
is
do I
very confusing.
choose?
I feel life is very confusing for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's kind of like, what do I choose? What do I do? Because
Yeah.
it's like, but you just choose one. And you know what? Like I studied in accounting. I did administration, and like did 3 years of college. So the first 2 years was the administration of it, and I had an option which was accounting. So that last year, all I did was accounting. And I'm doing what I'm doing now, so, but I love that I did that because I was really in administration and I know all the accounting part of it. But I would never be an accountant. Not going to happen. I wouldn't do that anymore. Now I'm like, I can do bookkeeping,
Yeah.
I could do the bookkeeping part of it, but I'm not going to do anything like accounting. It's just like too nuts.
I have a good
It's-
grasp on accounts, but yeah, like the world has enough accountants.
yes, that's it. We can give that job away. You do it.
Yeah. People love it. We have a great accountant, and I've worked with her for probably about 12 years now, and she's a one-man operation, but when the business I was in stuttered back in the last recession, which was around 2008, we were in trouble, and that was really stressful. We hired this lady as an accountant on a recommendation, and she's been brilliant. She just keeps us on the straight and narrow, but she loves it. But she's such a nice person as well. Like, we're great friends now. So
yeah, it's good to have the people, your people with you. You got to get I'm working with a real estate agent right now, and she sells, and she sells houses, and she helps people buy houses. So, but in her, like, how she goes around, she says, you need to have your power team. So you need to have your real estate agent, your broker, your mortgage broker, your insurance, like she basically has this umbrella, or this, I don't know the English word. Anyway, she's got all the spokes, and she's like, get this power team together, and then you can trust them. And that's what I have, and that's what I do too. So I've got my people that take care of me and that I can trust.
Yeah.
So
it's really important to have that in work, isn't it?
Yeah.
And even
in life. Yeah.
In your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always good to have an accountant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I have a doctor.
But I have my accountant, but I also have my reflexologist, like I like reflexology, and she's taking care of my body, and when I go see her, we have these conversations, and she brings me back to health. She kind of like refocuses my conversation, because it's easy for me as an entrepreneur to be in front of my computer and just putting that aspect of my life of taking care of my body aside, because I got a lot of things to do in front of the computer. You know what I mean? But I got her, and she brings me back. She's like, okay, well, what about your food? And what about this? And what about that? So I've got that person. And then I got my osteopath and my Pilates teachers, and they take care of that part too. Like, they just refocus. So it's like in every aspect of that is important to me.
Yeah.
I kind of have somebody, that I can count on, that will bring me, just realign me, or bring my feet back on the ground and go, yo, relax here, or have you thought of this? Or so, yeah, I like that.
Who's the one person you couldn't do without?
Uh, it's actually not a person.
Is it a
I
dog?
couldn't,
Is
I
it a
couldn't do,
dog?
I couldn't do without the dog. I
Yeah.
couldn't do without the dog. The dog is like, she's my pal. She's like, you know, she understands me. She's the closest, like, because we're basically always together. I bring her with me everywhere. And I don't know, it's
That's
just
the
I could.
diplomatic answer. We'll allow we'll allow that one.
Well, you know, I am single and I have no children. So that could have an impact.
There-
Like perhaps if I had a, you know, a significant other, the conversation might be different. But to tell you the truth, I doubt it. Like, because I always told myself, if I ever meet somebody and they say you got to get rid of the animals, I'd be like, sorry, we're just not aligned if you're asking me to get rid of the animals. Like,
Yeah.
never gonna work.
Yeah. No, you don't mess with a dog owner
Well, I
or a
think
cat,
that
a pet owner.
it's just like a deep rooted thing with me. It's like animals are part of me.
Yeah.
You know, like I've always had animals. When I was a kid, I would walk to school, you know, like 7, 8, I would walk to school. And I'd leave the house with no dogs and I would come back with stray dogs. And my mom was like, where did you get this one? I said, but it just followed me, Mom. I did nothing. It just
Found me.
followed me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I came back home. I was walking home. It was my mom's birthday, and all of her brothers and sisters were at home, and I was coming back from school. And I had a Great Dane, I had a Collie, and I had you know, the hunter dogs, the little Snoopy dogs. I had 3 dogs with me.
Yeah.
Beagle. I had a
Beagle. I
beagle.
was just about to say that.
Yeah. And the 3 dogs were with me. And, you know, and I was small. I was like 7 or 8, right? So can you imagine the Great Dane was probably the same height as me. And then I had the Collie and then I had the small dog and we were just coming back home. It was just so funny. Like I remember
Piper of animals.
yeah. I was just like, they would just follow me. I brought home rabbits. I brought home birds. I remember bringing home a nest of mice. Like we found the mother in the street squished, but we saw the nest. So we brought the nest back home. They did not survive. We weren't that good.
Yeah.
But like, oh, these teeny little mouses.
The tension was there though.
Yeah, exactly. We tried.
Yeah.
We tried.
And that's all you can do is your best. And isn't it amazing though? You said something which I laughed at there a few minutes ago. You said, I used to walk to school. I'm sure there's kids going like, you did what?
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't know any kids who walk to school. They're all
But I walked to school until, I mean, I think that's why I don't walk anymore. But I walked to school. I mean, we lived in a little city, in a little village. And I mean, I would walk to school. I would walk in the morning, come home to lunch and walk back and then walk. This is like what I would do. And when we moved to the city, it was the same thing. In high school, I would walk to school there and back.
Yeah, we all used to walk to school.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say barefoot or anything like that, but we like my parents worked and we just didn't expect it back then. Whereas now, like you see a lot of kids.
Mom, bring me to school. Drive me to school.
Even my own used to go kind of like go, it's raining, Dad. Like, so.
Yeah.
Then their mother would say, bring them to school.
That's true. I forgot about that. I forgot. Like I walked to school until I was 16. Then at 16, my father got me a car.
Yeah.
So then I would just drive to school. Interesting. Time changes.
Yeah. Not too many kids drove to school, and they still don't in Ireland. Like, because you have to be 17 now, I think, to drive.
Yeah.
And most kids will be leaving school around 17, 18 anyway. So Yeah.
No, I had my first car when I was
One or
16.
two people did have cars, or they had bangers or something, like maybe their mother's car the odd day. But it was like a real kind of, oh, did you see your man? He's driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father had a courier company.
Okay. Yeah.
So my father really like used his cars. He was a Volkswagen guy, and the Volkswagen was the car that could have as much mileage as he could. So whenever he reached a certain mileage on his car, he would change. So instead of selling it that year, he just gave it to me. He's like, okay, so I'm done with this one. So when I got the car, I think it was at 700,000 miles, or kilometers, I should say, because it's kilometers. And, I used it until got it for another 14 years after that,
You probably got another 700,000 on it. Like VWs, or was it a Beetle?
No, it wasn't a Beetle. It was a Rabbit.
A Rabbit. I do remember those.
Yeah. It was an 84 Rabbit.
Yeah. One of my older brothers got, they're now called Nissan, but at the time they were called Datsun.
Yeah.
And he got a little Datsun Cherry, which was a small little car, but it went down through all my brothers over the years.
So it's like
yeah. It was a hand-me-down at that.
Hand-me-down car.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something to it though, right? Like we don't do that anymore. It's like now we just go get new stuff. We don't
have
hand
brand new. Yeah. And there's so much wastage.
Yeah.
See, it looks that way.
It looks that way, and also, so all depending the perspective that we take, it could also look like, wow, we're so lucky that we can have brand new now. We don't have to have hand-me-down stuff. But it does create a lot of wastage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
I wish we could have, like when these cartoons, like, like made up cartoon things where you're like, okay, I'm finished with this one, and you just put it and it just comes back to raw material, and then you can reuse that raw material and create something new instead of just creating waste and garbage and stuff. Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah. What was the thing they used to have in Star Trek? And they just they used to make stuff, like materialize stuff out of raw matter.
Hey, we have no idea where this is going. I mean, for me, obviously my brain doesn't know how to do that, but some other people might. I mean, I'm getting more and more in depth into the conversation of form and formless, like how everything comes to form, but before it's form, it's actually formless. So, and then people use the power of thought and the power of, the universe to create a form with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some people have access to something that I don't.
It's there in the collective creativity of humankind.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm just gonna look at technology and see what I can do with technology right now.
I love all the stuff that has come to pass since we were kids. Like when I was maybe a teenager, maybe a little bit younger, we had Pong, which was the video game where it was just the tennis game.
Yes, I remember.
And now look at video games. We used to watch. I was a big fan of Star Trek as a kid, and the idea of the little communicators was amazing. That's come to pass with our mobile phones. When I was a kid, if you saw somebody going down the street talking to themselves, you'd think they're crazy. And nowadays they're just on their phone, like
They're all talking to themselves. They're all crazy.
yeah.
You know
There's
what I'm watching?
a lot of crazy people around now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm watching right now on Prime? I'm watching the show Upload.
I haven't heard of that one.
No, Upload is a show where the people who are dying can upload their consciousness
Wow.
before their body dies. And so they extract the consciousness from the body and they send it into the ethos or whatever, wherever they send it to a virtual world, and the body is frozen, and they're hoping that they're going to be able to reconnect them at one point, right?
Wow.
But they have this team of techs that are called angels that are taking care of the consciousness. So once the consciousness wakes up, they kind of talk them through, but they've already prepared. They've got like a bank account, and when they want something, if they want to change their view, okay, I want to be in the winter. So it's like, cha-ching, and then all of a sudden they're in the winter.
Yeah. Wow. I love that idea.
It's really interesting. And in there, they basically, the main character has died in a car accident, but they're in a time where all the cars are self-driven, and there are no more accidents. So they don't understand how come he died of an accident, but really what it is that he got murdered because somebody reprogrammed the car.
Yeah.
And so when they get to the car, they tell the car, tell me what happened on March 17th, 2022. And they're like, I was driving from da 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 da. Yeah, but you were in a car accident. You were in an accident. And the car's like, nope, all my functions are fine. And the girl is sitting in the car, and there's like, it's all in pieces. And she's like, okay, there's a problem here.
Yeah.
But the computer really understands. So it's really, really cool to see the ideas behind it,
There are people like that, though, aren't there? They're broken into 10 million pieces, and they say, oh, fine.
Yeah, exactly. There are people like that. I agree. Wow. Well, Ian, this was a fun conversation.
It was fun.
Right? We just go where the flow is and then see what happens.
I enjoyed myself.
Me too. Thank you for accepting the offer of chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me.
And let's say somebody wants to get in touch with you and Eb.
Yeah, so our website is theresiliencyyhub.com, and all the contact details are on that. We'd love to hear from you. Like I said, I'm doing some coaching. Ev is doing a lot of coaching. She's doing a lot of training, which I don't particularly like doing. But I like the creative stuff. So I'm doing design work. I'm doing website stuff. I'm coaching, and just wherever things take me as well. I'm in development with a chap, a good friend of mine who is again another virtual friend.
Yeah.
Who I met through the whole 3P community. We're talking about doing a podcast kind of specifically aimed around men and manhood and what it means to be a man, and we're just developing it at the moment, but there's so many different aspects to being a man in 2022 in the modern world that were just not issues back 30 or 40 years ago. So it's kind of, we're curious about it more than anything. So the whole thought behind it is that there won't be any judgment to it, but we just want to talk to people from all different
Sounds interesting.
viewpoints. Yeah. I've spoken to a good few people about the idea. to develop it and that, and they think it's a really interesting idea. So hopefully it'll get off the ground and watch this space.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you need any help, I'm here. I know that you're pretty tech, but if you need any help consulting, just give me a buzz. I'm going to be happy to help.
I always need help with tech because it's such a vast subject, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Like everybody, I just get bogged down in things. And it's like, this is not going to beat me. And I just have to figure it out and see what's, because there's a, do you know something? And it's a philosophy that I've had for years. If something isn't working, there's a reason. And it's just a matter of, it's a bit like detective work. You have to work your way through it.
Yeah.
We always had, in the print business, we had files coming in from all over, and sometimes it wouldn't work or fonts would be missing, or, you know, so there's always a reason. And it was one of my sayings when I was, because I had a team of designers as well. If they couldn't figure out something, we'd just like go through the steps and just eliminate things. So
I love it. I love it. That is true. If something's not working, there's something wrong. So just just go through your processes, you'll find it.
There's a line in the programming that's just not, it's getting stuck on that one.
Yeah.
You know, so
I love it.
It's the same with people. If you're getting stuck on something, there's a reason. And you just need to reflect on it and you'll find it.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Words of wisdom, people. If you feel stuck, just go look through the process. There's a line of code that's not working.
Yeah, it is. It's as simple as that.
Very cool. All right. Thank you so much, Ian.
Thank you.
And everybody else, I'm going to say, dream it, dare it, do it, live the life that you want. Bye-bye.